And so let's say we start with a line, or start with 2 points that I can identify, and we don't specify them. We just call them x1, y1, x2, y2. But because the ti89 doesn't, it's already assigned those variables to other calculations or other functions, we need to replace them. So we're not going to use x's and y's, so instead I'm just going to use h and k. So the coordinates for this lower point will be h1, k1, and the coordinates for the upper point, h2, k2. Okay, so if I wanted to find the equation for the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points, the slope is given by the equation what? In terms of x's and y's. Okay, so it's y1 minus y2 over x1 over x2. And you could switch the terms. You could say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But regardless, that is the equation for slope. Okay, now, because we're going to enter it in terms of these 2 points, I'm going to make a quick replacement. I'm going to replace the y's with the k's. So I get k1 minus k2 all over h1 minus h2. So this right here is going to be the calculation that we'll use in our calculators. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to program or kind of define functions in your calculator, and so that you can wind up doing this with any calculation you want. I've had students in the past who have turned around and created functions for almost every calculation they've done in class. So it's up to you how far you want to go with it. I do want to just introduce a couple of them so you kind of get the gist of it. All right. So if you're going to define functions on your calculator, here's how you would need to do it. The first thing is you need to tell the calculator what you're doing. So you are going to define a function. Okay, so the define command is embedded in this F4 tab, this other tab, and it's the very first one. So if you hit F4, other, and then choose the first one, define. Okay, so F4, and then choose define. Okay, that's telling your calculator what you're doing. You're telling it you're going to define a function. So the second step is to name your function. Okay, so in this we're finding slope. So when you choose a name that's descriptive enough for you to understand what it is that you're doing. Okay? And yet it can't be something that the calculator's already assigned to something else. So the calculator hasn't assigned the term slope for anything. So what we can do here is we just hit the alpha key. If you hit it twice, this little A will go from bold to then highlighted. Once it's highlighted, it's in alpha lock mode. So you can just type the word. Bless you. Okay, so if we type the word slope, just use your the keys. Okay, and we have the name. Deselect or select it one more time to deselect the alpha lock. Okay, so that's naming the function. After you name the function, what you're going to do is you're going to determine the order of inputs. The way that you determine the order of inputs, again, no space here, just parentheses, and you're going to tell the calculator what information you want to be involved in the calculation. So our calculation is going to be based on these 2 coordinates, these 2 ordered pair. So I'm going to enter the order that I plan on entering them when I evaluate this user-defined function. So in parentheses, I'm going to put h1, k1. That's the coordinates of my first set of points, or my first ordered pair, followed by h2, k2. So that's the order that I'm choosing. Okay, you can choose any order that you want. I would suggest that you pick something that's consistent and easy to remember for you. And to me, the easiest thing is just to type in the ordered pair as they exist. X is first, followed by Y's, and then the other second point's X, followed by its Y. Okay. Yeah. You just type, you have to hit the alpha lock button, the A button, and then just type in the letters. All right, so if I choose H1, comma, the comma is right above the 9, K1, comma, H2, comma, K2. Okay, so again, I've identified that the way I'm going to enter my points is the one ordered pair followed by the other. Again, each of them only separated by comma. Okay, my final step here then is to create the calculation that's going to take place. So we do that by using an equal, and then we type in the calculation. So when we take these inputs, the calculation that we're using is this calculation right here. So K1 minus K2 divided by H1 minus H2. Okay, so as I enter that, again, you do need to make sure you have the equal sign. The equal tells it now you're going to identify the calculation that occurs, and then put my numerator in parentheses. So K1 minus K2, difference of the y's, divided by, in parentheses, the difference of the x's, which are H1 minus H2. Okay, once you've typed in all of this, you can then hit the enter button. And when you hit enter, you should see the instructions done. Okay, what that means is this is now stored in your calculator's folders or files. So to access this, what you're going to do is you're going to hit the second button, the blue second button, and then you're going to hit this subtraction key. It says var link on top. Okay, this is the location of all the variables and functions and applications that you've stored on your calculator. It's also the location where you can link your calculator to somebody else's. So if you hit second subtract, it goes to your menu, which you can now just scroll down to find slope or just tap the letter. Again, you could tap the key that coordinates the letter, so I could tap 3 to jump to the S's. I'm just going to tap the T to jump all the way to the T's, and then I'm going to scroll up from there. So I have this function slope. So now to access it, I can either plug this combination, or you can just type the command yourself. So you could just type in slope parentheses. Okay, so if you're going to use this, if you want to use this to confirm what is the slope between these 2 points in sample problem 22, okay, type slope and then just enter it the same way that you identified the order of your inputs. The order of my inputs were H, or the X coordinate, then the Y coordinate, followed by the other point's X coordinate and its Y coordinate. So when I type this in, I'm going to get 5, 6, -3, 2. Notice I'm not writing these as ordered pair. I'm not going to put parentheses within this set of parentheses. I'm simply going to take 5, 6, there's my first point, followed by, so comma, my second point, -3, 2. And then I'm going to close that function off. And once I hit done, it should give me the slope of the line passing through those 2 points. And so here I get the slope is equal to 1/2. And we already did this by hand, and we did get 1/2 for that.